Okay, picking up from that point, sir, since you already mentioned temper wage hikes here, what do you think would be an acceptable level here for the private sector? I mean, exemptions have already been made regarding the 33 peso wage hike in NCR and Western Visayas. What do you think would be a concession here that the private sector is willing to take? Or compromise, rather?
Regarding that, since the numbers have been increase has been announced, if you look at the numbers, it's about 6.2% increase over the previous minimum wage. And our inflation as of now is between 4.3 and 4.5%. So in a way that is that reflects that it's reasonable, but I would take it from the point that those who are employed now or companies that can afford the medium size and the large companies, I'm sure they can afford it. But on the side of the unemployment that I mentioned, a lot of the micro may not, at this point in time, since we're just recovering, may not immediately be able to shoulder that. So I would suggest that for those who were laid off in the micro and small, and for them to come back, maybe give them a period of couple of months to just maintain the previous minimum wage. I think giving people more work is more important in the meantime.
Okay, sir, let's move on from domestic towards external as well for the private sector. What are you hoping that the Department of Trade and Industry can continue in terms of their plans? We've had some economists touting that they would want the Trade Secretary Mon Lopez to be continuing with this post. Of course, no announcements have been made yet in terms of names, but how can the private sector be more involved in crafting such trade laws and agreements?
Are you referring to the creation of jobs, the nurse program? May I clarify what you're referring to?
Sir, we've had analysts on the show, sir, saying that they would want the policies of the Trade Department to be continuing, particularly the support for MSMEs as well, and external, export and manufacturing to be continuing. What is the PCCI looking at in terms of continuity, and what are you hoping for this department in the cabinet to be achieving, sir?
Yes, in other forum, I've mentioned that the micro at this point in time needs a lot of financial assistance, considering that what they've gone through in the last year and a half. And we have the SP Corp under DTI that may be able to extend. I don't know whether we still have any amount of money under Bayanihan 1, under Bayanihan 2 yata. I don't know whether they still have some. But it's good that if any assistance can be extended. On the private sector side, we are encouraging our members to have a guarded optimism. Some of the challenges that we face now will create because of geopolitical war between Russia and Ukraine. And this has really hyped up all the fuel, important commodities, whether it be especially food-related items. The wheat, I think, just broke the value of $1,500 per ton. So that is about almost 2.5 times the previous cost. So those are really of concern. And inflation, I think that it's going to fall under the hands of the new economic team, considering that we have due to the COVID-19, where the government has to get financing for the procurement of vaccines and everything, we are now closing, the amount is closer to 13 trillion. And that is of concern to everybody.